Look, here's the deal. If you're making YouTube videos and you're interested in growing a channel, then the two things that you need to keep in mind at all times are CTR and AVD, which stand for click-through rate and average view duration. Basically, you want to get them watching and keep them watching, which is pretty obvious when you put it in those terms. But if you can do that over and over and over again, then your channel is going to grow. Now, the video editing tips I have for you in this video are not going to help with your CTR. That has to do with like titles and thumbnails and stuff like that. But they will absolutely help your average view duration. And that's because of the punchline of this whole video, what all of these video editing tips lead up to, which is respect the viewer's time. This isn't TV. This isn't the movies. People aren't cuddling up on the couch with a bowl of popcorn to watch YouTube videos. I mean, okay, maybe some people are, but for the most part, they want to get in, get the information they're looking for, and get out. If you waste their time, they're gone. So let's look at 10 different ways that you can respect your viewers' time and get them to watch through to the end of your videos. Tip number 1 is to reward your audience early. Basically, this is going to let your audience know that your video is worth watching. Now, there's 3 basic ways to do this when it comes to editing. You can either confirm, or you can foreshadow, or you can excite your audience. Confirming is just that. It's confirming that, yes, the information your audience is looking for is contained within this video. Like in the beginning of this video, for example, I confirmed that I had video editing tips that would help people watch more of your videos. I feel like I just said the word video like 867 times. So confirming is best for educational and how-to content, because honestly, the viewers of that type of content are the biggest sticklers for, not having their time wasted. There's no room for fluff there. Foreshadowing is a little bit different. This is actually alluding to something that happens later in the video by showing that clip at the beginning of the video. For example, in Peter McKinnon's Filmmaker Reacts videos, he often shows a clip of him reacting to something at the very beginning of the video, but he doesn't show what he's reacting to. This gets the audience curious, and now they want to watch the rest of the video in order to find out what he was reacting to in the beginning. Does that make sense? I feel like that made sense. Now, exciting the audience is just that. It's doing something in the beginning that gets the audience excited and gets them to want to watch the rest of the video. Mr. Beast is the king of this. For example, in one of his latest videos where he gave people basically a minute to spend $1 million, the video opened up to him literally swimming in $1 million. I mean, come on, how much more exciting can you get? Now I definitely want to watch, and I want to see what people do with that money. My next tip is to get to the point, and this typically applies the most to, again, educational and how-to content, talking head videos, stuff like that. Basically, nobody wants to see your long drawn-out intro. They want you to get to the point and start giving them the information that they need. Basically, it works like this. You've got about 6 seconds to confirm with the audience that the information they're looking for is in this video, and then maybe about 24 seconds to give context. If you haven't gotten to the meat of the video within that first 30 seconds, they're out of here. I mean, they're leaving. To be honest, this is something that I struggle with a lot, and to this day, my comment section is littered with get to the point and video starts at timestamp comments. It drives me nuts, because honestly, I think that's one of the most disrespectful comments you can give to somebody who's giving you free content to watch, but I do get it. I'm not respecting their time, so there's got to be a balance there. And speaking of 6 seconds, my next tip is to keep it moving. The audience attention span on YouTube is notoriously short. You've got about 6 seconds before they start losing interest, like I said before, but this actually pertains to the entire video, so you want to constantly be switching things up. So that's why you always see me punching in and out and switching to B-roll, and that's because every time I switch camera angles or jump to B-roll or switch shots, that attention span timer kind of starts over. So the more you can do that, the longer they'll stick with the video. Does that make sense? Again, Mr. Beast is the perfect example of this. He's gonna come up a lot in this video because he just kind of has the formula down, but he does a lot of quick cuts, and that's because it keeps the attention span of the audience. Things are always moving, they're moving fast, and you just can't look away. Now, my next tip is kind of related to the keep it moving tip, but it's a little bit different. It has more to do with storytelling than anything else, and that tip is make every frame count. Basically, there's no room for lag in the storyline. You have to make sure that every single cut adds to the storyline, even if it's just comedic relief. Everything needs to mean something when it comes to YouTube videos, when it comes to short form content in general. This is why it's really important to learn when to cut, when not to cut, what to leave in the video, and what to leave on the cutting room floor. Well, that's one of the reasons. We'll get to another reason a little bit later in the video. My next tip is not to force a longer video. This is a trap that a lot of people get into when their channels get monetized. They think that if they have a longer video, that YouTube will promote them more because there's more ad spots and they can make more money. But the fact is that if you're not giving them value from start to finish, then the people are gonna leave early and YouTube won't push out your content and you're gonna miss out on all that revenue. So put the information in there that needs to be in there, and that's it. If the video is 4 minutes long, then the video is 4 minutes long. If it's 7 minutes long, it's 7 minutes long. If it's 25 minutes long, then it's 25 minutes long. Basically, your goal is to tell your story or give your information in the most efficient way possible. And the perfect example for this is Gerald Undone. Now, his videos are often upwards of, 15, 20, sometimes even 25 minutes long, but it's straight value from start to finish. He's not drawing out the video. He's just giving you the information you need and getting out. My next tip is something that I struggle with a lot, and that's knowing what's important to your audience. Now, I know as much as we would like to think it's true, your audience probably has a different set of values than you do. They probably find different things important. So knowing what's important to your audience and only keeping that stuff in the video is gonna keep people from getting bored or leaving your video altogether. And actually, a perfect example of this is a video that I put out not too long ago where I compared Artlist Audio and Epidemic Sound. I had filmed this great segment about how each of these platforms treats the musicians that make the content for the websites. And it's something that's really important to me because I'm a musician, but a good friend, Leela, pointed out that these people are filmmakers, they're editors. They might not necessarily care about the same things that you do. So we cut out that entire segment. Sometimes you just have to cut things that aren't important to your audience. It sucks, but that's just the name of the game. But that doesn't mean you can't be yourself in your videos or have your personality shine through. In fact, far from it. My next tip is to highlight authenticity. I mean, if you can't make that personal connection with your viewers, then it's gonna be really hard to develop that close-knit community or that super active audience that you're looking for. So while you're editing, make sure to look for spots that highlight your personality. Just make sure it also follows the other 10 tips so you're not wasting the audience's time. Moving on, my next tip is to prioritize audio. And yes, I know that this is a video platform, but this isn't Hollywood, this isn't Netflix. People will forgive you if your video isn't the highest quality possible. They will not, however, forgive bad audio. Not even a little bit. Now, in the filming process, this has a lot to do with using the right microphone for the right situation, sound treating your rooms if possible, stuff like that. But on the editing side, it means taking the time to learn how to process dialogue. It means taking the time to learn kind of how to work with music in a video, and also taking time to learn sound design, because the right sound effect at the right time could make all the difference in the world. My next tip is don't drag out the ending, or as I like to call it, if you're done with the video, be done with the video. I mean, let's be honest, not a lot of people can get away with that whole subscribe, like, hit the bell diatribe that people like to do at the end of the video. That actually would be much better placed somewhere in the middle of the video. By the way, have you subscribed, liked, hit the bell yet? It's all, down there. It boils down to this: the faster the ending of the video can sneak up on the watcher, the better. It's gonna leave them hopefully wanting more, and if they want more, well, hopefully they'll watch more. My next tip is super important for any fast-moving video, which most YouTube videos are, and that's to maintain eye trace. Eye trace is basically making sure that your viewer doesn't have to kind of adjust the position of his eyes to find the focus of the frame every time the shot changes. Now, I have spoken at length about how emotion is the most important thing to keep in mind when making videos, but when it comes to shorter form videos like on YouTube, eye trace actually kind of takes the cake because you're trying to keep the audience's attention. Now, I put out a video all about eye trace and why it's so important. I'll make sure to link that below. I've also just come out with a video about a really simple tool that you can use in DaVinci Resolve to help you maintain eye trace throughout your entire video. If you want to check that out, click here. And with that, thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.